So just to give you a description of the scene, I was putting my son in my wife's G-Wagon, and I hear FBI freeze, and I really thought it was friends of mine screwing around. And I look over, and there's literally 8 weapons, and they looked like they were, going in Iraq. I mean, they had the full battle gear, and then they handcuffed my professor from my jiu-jitsu studio, who was on the other side. And then they said, "Who's in the house? Who's in the house?" And I said, "Well, my wife and a handyman." And then, of course, in my mind, I'm like, "Oh my God, this poor woman."
Shade isn't a place you hide. It's where you pause, where you think, where real work happens. Quietly, creatively, and authentically. No slides, no filters. Just candid conversation about a story worth telling. It's not about villains. This is where brand builders, creatives, and storytellers come to share the stories they usually don't tell in pitch decks or press releases. It's about the people who work behind the scenes, challenge the obvious, bend the rules, or build unforgettable brands. This is
Shady Characters.
This is Shady Characters, and I'm really excited and honored to have Matt Bowyer with us today. I've known you for quite a few years.
Yeah.
I've known your wife for 15 years.
Right.
I consider us friends. Do I hang out at your house on a Friday? No, but I know I've known you for a long time, and your life has been such a secret to me, which was a pretty surreal experience, which is why we're here today. And I'm so thankful that you came on to talk to us today. I know you've got a new book out called Recalibrate, and I'd love to kind of just get under the hood of your story about yourself. I think the approach you've taken post everything that's come down, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, so I'll let you tell your story if that's okay.
Of course.
And I think that your outlook on life and what you're doing with your family is so admirable, and I've sent you messages on the side when I see the things you say, and it's like so inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, man. Thanks to both of you.
Thanks for being here.
I actually have a question for you before we get started.
Sure.
You made a statement there that I'd like you to go further on.
Yeah.
You said you were very curious as to basically what the hell I was doing, I imagine. I mean, that's really what I got out of that. What were you thinking? I mean, I think you knew I gambled or whatever, but I was just curious. Did you know I was a bookmaker? I don't recall the conversations we had when your wife first came over, and by the way, did an amazing job in my house. So I recommend his wife to anyone listening. But her eye is great.
I'll give you that. I'll give you the quick full version. Yeah. So I had met you. I'd come over. It's probably 10 years ago. I'd come over to your house, and how long have you guys been in there?
About 10 years.
Yes. Yeah, I think you guys. It's somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago, and I'm blown away. Like I've known Nicole for a long time. I know you guys have such a great relationship, and Stephanie and I walked over, and you and I were chatting, and I think you had told me that you had multiple businesses, and then I also heard somewhere through the grapevine that you were a poker player.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so he gambles and he's got some businesses. Then I know you have the jiu-jitsu studio, so I'm like, okay, he has legit businesses that that you're operating. But I'd always see on Instagram and like on Nicole's feed that you guys were on a private jet going to Vegas, and then the next thing I know, there's like chefs and and Bentleys and all these crazy things. And then I see other mutual friends. I'm like, Stephanie, I don't think they like us enough to invite us to Vegas.
Well,
I had no idea what was going on.
You weren't a beard for me. You need to be a beard. You know what that is?
No.
Let me explain. So my entourage, I call it, they're really friends of mine, but they were bringing my money to the casinos or getting credit lines to gamble for me. So they were my first choice to be on those planes because the incentive for them and for me was mutual, benefit. But if I wanted to bet $300,000 a hand, you have to have a certain amount of money, credit line. And I usually brought $2 million. $2 million only allows you to bet $150,000. So the only way for me to bet more, and that's how sick I was and how much action I love, is to bring other people to the table. So for example, I'd say, Tim, here's $250,000. You just come along, put it on deposit, and when I say, hey, Tim, I'm betting max this hand, you might want to do the same. You'll bet the max. In your case, it would be 20 or 25,000. And then I'd have multiple people doing that at the table. So I'd have 4 or 5 people betting 25,000 or 50, depending on their limit. To the point where the max they would allow is 300,000.
Was there a movie? There was a movie about that, kind of with the kids from MIT.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey was in that.
Yeah.
21, I think it was called.
21.
Right?
Yeah.
That was different though. That they were actually counting cards, and bringing teams in, and I did that as well. I counted cards in blackjack for a while. I got cut off at some casinos, and then because I got cut off, I started playing baccarat. And you can't really beat baccarat over time, which is proven. I lost 13 million at Resorts World in a year and a half. But the truth is, I just love to gamble. So I just chose a game that I felt had the less amount of variance and gave me the best chance. And then with my negotiations between my wife being a host and all the squeezing of the comps, I think I survived longer than almost anyone based on the level and the amount I was gambling. In fact, I was profitable at several casinos. I won $4 million in Panama. That they went out of business. I won $5.5 million at Cosmo. They cut me off. Venetian, I think I was down maybe $3 million. But anyway, the point is, I survived.
So they're legitimately watching you eye in the sky, watching your hands as you gamble.
Oh yeah. They actually have systems now that count the cards from the computers in the sky, so they can see if the plus count is really high when you're betting blackjack, and then they also run a variance down where if all of a sudden you're betting larger amounts, clearly when the count is plus, it just tells them you're counting cards.
Do you have to play in like the high rollers area, or can you go and is it safer for you to play at like a regular stakes table?
It's a good question for the person that doesn't gamble like at that level. You can go out to the regular, we call it pedestrian area, but
pedestrian right here.
Hey, that's okay. You're not going to prison in 32 days. So smart pedestrian. But truth be told, the lower level limits out there in the pedestrian area are going to be much less. So
you couldn't go and play like a higher level hand at that table. You would have to go to the high stakes.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
And to be honest, they don't usually have the chips that are adequate for the amount you're betting.
Yeah.
When you're betting 50,000 on a blackjack hand, they might have only 300,000 in the rack, whereas the other might have 5 million. You know, so and also they want their best dealers and pit bosses are going to be in the VIP areas. You know, they're there for a reason, to make sure they're also better dealers, not making errors. Let's be honest. I've been overpaid on hands many times, and of course I don't say anything. No one does. Yeah. But
it's just like finding $5 on the ground. You put it in your pocket.
Or 50,000.
Or 50,000.
But it's rare.
Yeah,
I mean,
a small error is a very big error.
especially over the, like in Panama, I'll give you an example. I spoke English, obviously. I didn't speak, Spanish, and my wife did. But we used that to our advantage because their English was really bad there. And some of the dealers, I would pretend that I didn't communicate what I was communicating, and that would fly like once or twice on a trip.
Yeah.
And then I would have my wife tell me when they started, the pit boss and the dealer were not arguing, but discussing what I'm claiming to be, which usually was bullshit. I could have her just translate to me what they're saying. If I'm winning the argument, if I have a shot, if I don't. And I would usually pull that off like once or twice a trip. Because I'm such a big player, they don't want to lose the customer. And,
Right.
And I would just say, well, she didn't understand. I said hit when I said stay or whatever. And the cameras can only hear and see so much too. So, and of course, you do, you're drinking, you're kind of pretending to be. I mean, part of my persona sometimes was to, especially in
pretend
your
you're a little more loose than you are.
Yeah, and my personality is pretty outgoing anyway. So I'm always talking to the pit bosses. I'm kind of entertaining people and having a good time, to be honest. I did have a good time, but I was able to have 5 or 6 old fashions, still count cards, which became more difficult the more you drank.
Yeah.
But you have to watch every card on the table when it's dealt in blackjack. You literally do. So
you got to have a pretty photographic memory at that point then to be able to calculate all that, remember it in your head. You're clearly a numbers guy then.
I'm very good at numbers, but the truth is I use chips to help me, especially when I'm drinking. So I would get a lot of $25 chips for tips. I tip the dealer almost every hand. I was really kind to dealers. And I would use those chips to keep the count, because if I was too drunk or just not focusing enough. So let's say, and you probably don't understand the count, but let's just pretend that you're playing blackjack. You want a plus count. That means there's more aces and tens, right?
Oh, I saw 21. I know.
Okay, there you go. You're ready. Well, the plus count, when it's higher or lower, it doesn't matter. Negative, it doesn't matter. You want to keep track. So when it was plus count, I would keep the chips on this side. And then if it was negative, I would just move them to this side of my actual regular chips I'm betting. They didn't know, because it's just chips and you play with them while you're hanging out or whatever. So every time the cards come out, let's say the 3 hands were dealt or whatever, then I would count the cards and then I would reduce or add accordingly. And that way I don't have to always think about what is the count.
Sure.
Because I'm really only counting that one hand.
Yeah.
And so if it goes from +6 to -2, I just take these 6 chips on this side and I put 2 on this side. Now I know it's -2. Here comes the next set of hands. And then, of course, my bet at +6 is going to be much different than -2 because now I'm a underdog to win the hand, slight tiny underdog. Whereas +6, the odds are a little bit more in my favor.
Yeah.
So that's how I would do it. But I still was a gambler at the end of the day, so I didn't. The variance of my wagers weren't so disguisable because, I couldn't help myself. I can't bet $100 on a hand. It was boring, and also
That's why you want the rush of it all too, right?
Yeah, it's dopamine rush. If you're addicted to anything,
Yeah.
you're chasing that rush, and whether it's alcohol, drugs, doesn't matter. So for me, it was always gambling. But if I bet $2,000 a hand and I won, sadly, I would feel like I lost because I wanted to bet 50,000.
Yeah.
But the negative count told me not to, so I'm playing the odds. Baccarat's different. There is no counting. It's just pure gambling. So that's just all momentum based. I mean, you bet based on your bankroll. You try to give yourself a chance. If they call it flat betting. If you're flat betting, that's where you're betting the same amount every hand. In any game, you have no chance.
Yeah, you're just going to sit flat, or you're going to end up with nothing left, right?
Pretty much. Over time, you'll
get your free Jack and Coke when the waitress comes by.
And then you'll
it's a
lose
good
your
way
money
to
over
it's a
time.
good way to kill time. Yeah,
It is, and it's fine. I mean, if you're just messing around for an hour or whatever, you can get lucky. But over a period of a trip or multiple trips, you got no chance.
yeah.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I'm going to roll this back to how he decided who to bring and not to bring you. Aren't they called a fucking beard? And I didn't get one invite.
You would win that. You would win that for sure.
Not one
I mean,
invite to
that
go
thing
on
is-
this PJ.
That thing's legit. And it's funny. You obviously don't dye it because I see you got some grays.
Oh, thank you for noticing.
Well, don't worry.
Those are my blondes.
I dye mine.
Yeah.
And if you guys look at my CNN YouTube, or just go to my YouTube channel, look at CNN, that day was really rough for me because the guy was at my door, Nick Watt from CNN, to come interview me. And I took a shower. I dyed my beard just for men because I'm getting a lot of gray hair. And my wife looks...
I've thought about throwing some of that shampoo up in the head.
Well, at least look how much hair you have. You're lucky. So in my case,
it's all combed
I'm
back,
losing
don't
it
worry.
everywhere. I just turned 50, and my wife, as you know, it looks like she's 30. She's 38, and so I'm trying to keep up with her as much as I can. So I dyed my beard, and I left it on too long. Didn't even look in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Get out of the shower, put on my clothes. The guy's at the door. They're waiting for me. I come out there. I do the interview. Oh man, did I get bashed? You guys go look at this. You want to
You got a pitch black beard or something?
Dude, these people
now I
said,
gotta go look.
look at his beard plugs. This guy painted his face.
Gotcha.
Is
I mean,
there
they
such thing
blasted
as a
me.
beard plug?
I've never heard of one, but apparently I have it.
You got a turkey, I think.
Whatever it is, it's made in Turkey, right? Or it's,
I promise you, I got blasted, and
Yeah.
I said, "Wow, I better make sure I don't leave it on too long in the future." So, but your beard looks good.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can I also roll this back to what I thought he did? Because
yeah, and then I
we
want to
have
finish.
a different.
I want to finish that story too because it's funny.
So we had a different introduction. We met candidly at the park with kids playing,
That's right.
right? You remember
That's
this?
right. I do.
And we hit it off. Our kids, Kingston and my middle daughter Lennon, playing at the park over here at Los Rios. And so we hit it off, and we're shooting the S. And you started talking jujitsu, so
Right.
I knew you had the jujitsu gym.
Sure.
And then you told me you had a turf business. And so like artificial turf
Right.
stuff, and I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then I think I saw you get into a very, very nice car, and I was like, this is turf. This
Lucrative?
like viable here.
He
in
came
Southern
back and he's
California?
like, Matt said he's got a turf business. Is that for real? I'm like, I don't know, man. That's a lot of turf.
Well, $550,000 Rolls Royce Cullinan is definitely not usually by a turf.
Well, I remember you had the Bentley too, and then you're like, this is actually my new one. I got a different car. I realized I like the Bentley so much. I sold that one, and this is now my new Bentley because it was like the 2-door coupe
Yes,
one.
it's the best, the driving car.
You said that that was my favorite car. This is my second one. I got another one because I liked the other one
They
so
drive
much.
so good. I miss them both, actually. I'm so materialistic. I'm such a materialistic bitch. But I do sell turf. I still
Okay.
do.
All right.
I do.
Okay.
I just maybe didn't mention to you that I had a business called bookmaking.
Okay.
And it was a little bigger than the turf
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And frankly, I missed the proceeds from the bookmaking business drastically. But turf I do sell.
Yeah.
My buddy owns a company. It's called Halo Turf. And,
Okay.
And it's here in Orange County. And so we do front and backyards. We
There
do
you go.
putting greens, all that stuff.
Yep.
But that's my hustle because I had to resort to that because obviously, I no longer have my business.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm gonna backtrack real quick. So we're at your house. You guys, I don't know if
that when I beat you at pickleball?
We never got to really play pickleball. We played a little bit in the front.
Oh, now you never really played.
I was going to ask you if
Hey,
you
see
guys.
that, Evan?
That was one of my questions down the road.
I could beat him blindfolded if I had to.
That was going to be one of my questions if you're still playing pickleball, but
Someone ran over my net.
because it's in the driveway.
Yeah, well, true. But you do like our court.
Yeah.
So when our house flooded, we had tons of traffic or whatever, and they ran over our net. So I haven't played since. You've been
right.
playing a bunch, haven't you?
Not as much as this. This guy plays a couple times a week.
Oh, does he beat you?
Yeah. At this
Okay,
point,
so I got to bring Evan over.
very, very badly.
Okay,
Bring your beard over.
I'll bring just for men.
So our wives, we were going through. I don't know if you talk about IVF or if,
Yeah, of course.
yeah. So our wives were going through IVF at the same time. I feel like we had this bonding time together through that. You guys were able to have Kingston before we had Camila.
Right.
Thank you so much. You hired my wife to design your nursery. She had a great time doing that. And so I feel like that's kind of where you and I got to know each other.
Right.
From that point on, you were, hey Tim, your buddy Matt. when we talked about you, so he Evan's in here in his office one day. He's like, Tim, you got to get over here. I know what your buddy Matt does for work now.
I think the whole world knew then.
And so it floored us. Like we walked in, and sure enough, there you are on the computer. And I'm like, oh my God, like. So it definitely is more than a turf business.
Yes, more than turf and jiu-jitsu, right?
But here's another part that I thought was like so fascinating is that fascinating might be the wrong word. We had actually come. Your house was raided in I think in November
October 5th.
by the FBI. I think we came to your house in November. And shot a testimonial with Nicole for the nursery.
That's right.
Still had no idea that all of that had just happened. You guys were calm and collected. Your house was very much in order. Yeah. And I'm sure it was like a water polo player, like up on top, you're doing great, but underneath, there's probably a lot of chaos happening.
I've been a duck for the last 2 years. Definitely cruising around very calmly, but below there's a lot of kicking.
Yeah.
But I've been that way my whole life. I mean, I've chaos, yeah.
That's how I learned about your career, which to me, like now it all makes sense.
Sure.
And from the outside, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it was wild. When I was younger, it was even more difficult to kind of hide per se because I would take my daughter, and I was like, I don't know, 28 years old, and I had a Ferrari or whatever. I've had so many cars, and I didn't really work a regular schedule. So I was always the dad was able to go to the volleyball games and the softball or whatever they played. And then I pulled up in a car that usually a 28-year-old kid doesn't drive. And then we had the nicest, house in the neighborhood and jewelry or whatever. And obviously it was pretty obvious that I did pretty well. And I think a lot of people were questioning what the hell I was doing.
Where does that come from? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah. But my kids I've always been transparent with from day one.
Especially because you were always home.
I was home a lot. Yeah.
Every time we needed to come by your house, even during the whole nursery project, you were always home. I'm like, this guy's got the life. Like, he has all these businesses. He never has to go to them.
Yeah. Little did you know, my phone was very, very important part of my business, obviously. Sure. And there was a lot of numbers and millions of dollars. I mean, I swear to you, there'd be times that you were probably at my house and I had like $2 million on a football game or something. You wouldn't even know it.
Crazy.
Yeah, no way.
But I definitely would look at my phone and check the score and, but I can't control the game. I loved, seeing what was going on, and I had to monitor my business, but I really didn't show, the emotions because I was so used to the ups and downs for the last umpteen years. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I definitely want to kick a chair here and there or whatever, but I got so used to, okay, if I lose $1 million this week, I can make $1 million next week. And that become part of my daily life.
And so this started, you were a commodities trader, I read, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you probably probably started you in the whole idea of like easy money, right?
I started gambling when I was 13, 14, like on a tiny level, of course, you had no money. And then my gambling, I would say about 16 is when I was running a poker ring at my house, and my mom and my parents got divorced around 12, 13. And that's when our whole life just changed. We were the kids that had, I'm not going to say everything because we didn't, but we're pretty spoiled. Middle-class family, but we had a river house and jet skis and a boat, and we just didn't struggle. If we wanted to go play a new sport, we'd go buy all the new gear. We were blessed and we didn't really know it. And then all of a sudden the rug got pulled. And when the rug got pulled, I saw my dad was alcoholic and he moved out, and my parents are getting divorced. And
Do
my
you think
mom,
that's like a depression thing setting in, or was that always there?
no, he was drinking ever since I can remember.
Gotcha.
40 beers a day. He was a bail bondsman.
yeah. Okay.
So he ate one meal, 3 packs of cigarettes, 40 beers a day. Just sat around. Back then, no internet, waiting for the yellow pages, someone to call. And it was just a boring job, but he was great at it because he was charismatic, and he was like a functioning alcoholic where he was never really wasted. He just kind of was buzzed every day, all day, you know. But because of that and his ability to make money, no one really questioned it much.
Yeah.
But it got worse and worse. My mom, after like 3 or 4 rehabs, she had enough. So when he was moved out, my mom was struggling to keep us in the house. In that process, she was working like 3 jobs. So we had like no supervision. 4 boys in the house.
Yeah.
It was everybody was a man for themselves. So my 2 older
Kind of
brothers
forces you to grow up, right?
real fast, right? I mean, again, I felt like we were babied a little bit, or at least I was.
Did you play sports when you were younger?
I played
Did you have
every
like so you did have like a childhood like that you actually were able to participate in team sports?
Yeah, I wrestled football and baseball in high school. My dad was never around though because he would use his drinking habit to say he was at home for the phones to run the business, but he could have forwarded it to back then the cell phones started coming out, whatever, or pagers. But he just wanted to drink and be home, and you can't drink at a kid's baseball game.
Yeah.
So anyway, the moral of the story is that my mom was always there, my brothers or whatever, but I played all sports. I love sports. I've been a sports fanatic my whole life. I still play at 50, even though it hurts. But
I feel you.
yeah, everything hurts now.
I played pickleball this weekend and ended up diving straight through the net. I didn't tell you that story. took the whole thing out.
Doesn't it hurt your lower back? Pickleball, that's what hurts me the most.
No, with me it was my knee and my shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah, which are both recently updated.
Oh boy. Yeah, getting old sucks.
It does.
So, but anyway, so I was playing sports. I did all that stuff, and then when my mom was working these chaotic jobs, kidney dialysis technician, selling cakes. I mean, Jaffa products. She tried everything because now she's trying to keep 4 boys in the house. I said, I don't want to ask her for money, so I just started hustling, and it actually taught me to grind and hustle more than ever anything in my life. And I think because of that, to this day. Because I think I work harder right now, truly, behind the scenes than I ever have in my life.
You've been hustling hard for honest money for the last 2 years.
Beyond.
Yeah.
In the dark, which we'll get to, in the dark areas where I'm by myself and, you're contemplating, I'm going to prison, I have 5 kids, I mean, all those things, which we'll get to. But I would say from 13 to roughly 18, I just really was grinding. I worked at a pizza joint, a gas station. I was selling weed. I was baseball card collection, Orange County Register. I was the #1 sales kid in the county, selling the Orange County Register door to door as a paper boy. So I just did everything and anything. And then the gambling started around 13, 14. And then that was my passion because running a poker game at my house when no one was around, no supervision, I was able to hustle and make good money because I had the skills to out hustle these kids. And then we were betting on Sega, Genesis, Nintendo. It didn't matter. I mean, anything, right? And because I started making...
I'll take what you got.
I didn't really care. We bet on a foot race. But I started making really good money. And then between selling marijuana, taking bets, poker, I think I was making, more than my mom was. I mean, truly at like 16, I bought a truck all by myself.
Did your mom ever question where the money came from?
Well, I was pretty good at obviously the truck I told her was baseball card collection. She definitely was wondering, but I think because she had so much going on, and the fact is, it wasn't like I was buying a Ferrari, obviously, but I think there was definitely some concerns of what was going on. But that all...
You were doing a lot better than my 16-year-old older brother when he was working at the movie theater, let me tell you.
Yeah, but
he was the assistant manager.
Your brother, that's pretty good for a 16-year-old kid. But my problem was one of the kids had a IOU slip in his pants, and when the mom did the laundry, it said I owe Matt $340.
Oh no!
And that's when the poker ring came to an end. I came home to a full mediation of like 4 moms and my mom, and then it was like, what's going on, know? And of course, I was accepting other items, baseball cards from these kids for their debts or whatever. So that ended the poker ring, and then that's when the sports betting.
You can't take money from the willing, by the way.
It's true. I've learned that the hard way. That's why I'm going to prison, because all my clients were willing, actually. Right. But sadly. But the truth is, that's when my grind and hustle kind of developed. And then from 16 to 18, the gambling just got bigger.
just
and bigger.
skyrocketed.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, you don't have a lot of money, but when you're taking $50 bets, this is 34 years ago, $50 back then was probably equivalent to maybe 300 now or whatever. And you're taking all these bets from several people, and you have to have money. So I had a little operation going, but it was tiny. And it taught me that I can make a lot of money doing something I love, which is sports and gambling. So that's where the passion developed. And then it never stopped. It was on pause because at 18 years old, something happened where I got kicked out of my house for selling weed. And then my ex-wife and I moved into an apartment in Huntington Beach, this little dumpy apartment. And we had a roommate, and I had to grow up because I was like, okay, I just got caught for selling weed. Not by the law, but by my mom. And I need to get a real job. Like, I got to grow up. I just graduated high school. So I got a job at the John Wayne Airport stocking the gift shops. And then 6 to 2 and then 2:30 to 10, I worked at Massimo Clothing Company in Irvine. It just being a warehouse
I
kid.
used to work there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was filling the trucks with the bags of clothes,
Yeah.
boxes and forklifts and that kind of stuff. So I was working, from 6 to 10. And then on the weekends, I would just go to the racetrack and gamble my proceeds away. And I was a typical degenerate. And then what happened was my ex-wife got pregnant. I was 18 and barely could provide for myself. And now she's pregnant. And back then, I mean, she's amazing.
And you guys were living together, you said, right?
We're living together.
Yeah.
She's a very religious family. And the right thing for me to do was to marry her. So I, especially back then, that's how it was viewed.
Yeah.
So anyway, we decided to, now that we're going to have a baby and we're basically dead broke and don't have any careers, we made a decision to move in with my mom. And my mom allowed us to move back in now that I'm having a baby and being a dad and being responsible. So my mom lost our house.
Where did you grow up?
Cypress, California.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Pacifica High School in Garden Grove, and my mom lost our home in Cypress. So that was a really demoralizing thing to watch.
Yeah.
So she moved into a mobile home park in Dana Point, right here where the Denny's is. There used to be a mobile home park right there. And so here I am moving into a mobile home, which to me was always like...
With
the
a new
vision
wife
was-
and a baby and...
Yeah, but I envision a mobile home park as M&M,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
white
yeah.
trash, So it's
Sure.
like, wow, this is pride swallowing. So I move into this mobile home, and it's a 2-bedroom. My little brother's in one room, my mom's in the other, and we're sleeping on the couch. So she's pregnant. I got this. Now I lost my vehicle is a $400 beater, and I have no job, no real job. So I quit these jobs and I apply at a restaurant called Chevy's. You guys have probably seen it. Now it's
I was going to ask you, I read that. Did you ever work there with a guy named Micah, who was also on The Housewives?
I don't recall.
Because he was when we were growing up, he was like my best friend growing up, but he was a bartender there for a lot of years.
That tells you that he was much higher than I was. I was a busboy.
Yeah.
And I only worked there for like
I think
3
you
or 4
just
months.
aimed a little too low.
No, if
You wanted to stay invisible.
you read my book, I applied for a waiter and they wouldn't give me the damn job because I had no experience, and I was so insulted by this GM. And I'm like, first of all, I have the personality to be a waiter. I said,
Yeah.
and I said to him, it's pretty simple to take. It's not like this is Mastro's, it's this Mexican restaurant. Anyway, he wouldn't give me the job as a waiter, so I was desperate. So I took a job as a busboy. But I realized that Dana Point, as you guys know, is a nice area. There's money there. There's people. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this as a platform to meet someone, hopefully get a job somewhere better. Who knows where it'll lead. So I was very charismatic with people, and I started making more in tips than my waiters usually, because people tip the people that are giving service. And even though I was bringing chips and salsa and waters and whatever, I was just attentive to people. So after like 3 months, this couple kept coming in, and they tend to like me or whatnot. So I would obviously have deep conversations within reason. And they said, "Why don't you come work for us?" And I said, "Sure, I'll take it. I'm in." And they're like, "Well, you don't even know what it is." I said, "I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'll serve
gotta
the
be
chips and
better
salsa
than
for you."
this.
Yeah. And they're like, "Okay." So I drive
Yeah,
down.
as long as I'm not a busboy at your house, we're good.
Even that would have been better. I figured. So I drove down to Irvine. I had to go to Marshall's actually and get a tie. I didn't even have a freaking tie. And drive down this interview, and I'm all excited. And I pull up to this amazing corporate office building off Jamboree and Barranca, and I see Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, and all these cars that an 18-year-old kid dreams of. And I walk in this company, and it's like, it's got all these guys like on the phone and, make hand gestures and all this stuff going
It's
on.
like kind of like, is it like the Wolf of Wall Street? Kind of that
Identical.
that vibe, or
Identical, literally.
Yeah.
Trading places, Eddie Murphy,
yeah.
That's what they were doing. And I had no idea what it was. So I go on this beautiful corporate, long table. I'll never forget it. And I sit down, and this very intense gentleman who came into the restaurant, who was really kind to me at the restaurant, sits me down, and the interview was a lot different. He was very serious. And he kind of belittled me for like an hour. Why are you not in college? Why are you serving chips and salsa? I told him that
at any point, do you look at him and be like, hey man, you found me? Like,
well, we'll get to that. I actually just took it because I was so excited to possibly have a job.
yeah.
So the hour interview goes by, and I stood up for myself within reason.
Yeah.
So I leave there. I'm like, I didn't get that job. There's no way. So I get a call like a week later, and he says, come back. Well, he doesn't call me. Someone else does. Come back for another interview. So I'm all excited. So I come back, and it's another belittling for like another hour. And finally, after about 40 minutes of the interview, I just stood up, and I didn't stand up, but I just said, look, I think that you're misinterpreting who I am. Like, I understand that I don't have this amazing pedigree of, communication skills or degrees or whatever. I said, college has never been something I want to do. It's not for me. I said, but you've seen me at the restaurant. There's a reason you asked me to come here today. And I will be the hardest working human being that you ever hire. So if you want to train me to learn whatever the hell you guys are doing here, I think I'll be perfect for it. If you don't, then maybe this isn't for me. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm going to stand up for myself within reason, right? So he loved that, ends up hiring me. So I get this job. I had no idea what it is. It was $1,200 a month, and it was a commodity brokerage firm. So the job was in the mailroom. And now I'm sending out mail, so it's another low-level job. But
So they're beating you up for that job.
Pretty much, yeah. But $1,200 a month to me at that time
Was probably pretty good, right?
It was. It was actually. I was very grateful, but it was 60 hours a week, and what I didn't realize was that I was his personal assistant. So I had this amazing mentorship, where I'm working for this multi-millionaire, who at the time was he was 28. And he already lived in Bear Brand in like a $4 million home, which, by the way, now is probably 15. Had all the cars, had all the watches, had all, beautiful wife, had everything.
Yeah.
And everything I envisioned, I wanted. So I was just tried to mold this guy. And we became so close. And obviously I went over the top. I did whatever I was told and more, to the point where I was first contact from any new clients. So back then, no internet, et cetera. They would call, and then I would transfer the call to the broker of the day, and then we had headsets, and then I would hit mute. I'd send the call through, say, hey, Evan, got a lead for you, and then I hit mute, and then I would send it through, and they thought I hung up. If the phone wasn't ringing, I would just stay on the call.
I just listened to how
I just
they
sponged
it. And did they know you were hitting mute? Or
No, they had no idea, because they think I just went through it. They didn't care. They wouldn't care anyway,
Yeah.
but for me, it was
But that's how you learn, right?
100%. I just learned how to sell. I already knew how to sell from the Orange County Register and just hustling, but
That's like next level.
learn how to sell commodities.
Yeah.
Learn what the business was, even about. So in that process, I was so motivated by these guys. I mean, it was Wolf of Wall Street, but legal. They were just young guys, just loving life. Half of them were just doing hookers and blow and gambling and everything. I didn't do hookers and blow, but I'd love to gamble, and I love women, but I was in a position where I wasn't doing that. So long story short, I saw this like exciting life that I was so thrilled to be part of. So I asked, I said, hey, what's the exam? And they said, it's a Series 3 exam. I said, well, where do I get a copy of that? So I got a copy of the book, and I just started studying it. And all during my off hours, whatever. And then about 5-6 months go by, I go up to the owner. His name was Mickey. And I said, Mickey, here's some flashcards. I would like to take the Series 3 exam. And he looks at the flashcards. He's like, you're not even an assistant broker. We're not going to sponsor you to take the exam. It's a waste of money and time. I said, I tell you what, ask me any question. So I have like a stack of flashcards. So he runs off a few, and of course I answer them. And then he's like, oh, you've been studying, huh? I said, yeah. He says, well, once you're an assistant, then we'll sponsor you. We don't ever do that for a male kid, basically. I said, I'll make you a deal. If I pass, you can promote me. If I fail, you can fire me. He's like, you'll just risk your job? I said 100%.
I'm not going to fail. Yeah.
Yeah, I already know.
I'm not going to risk my job. I'm not going to fail.
That's pretty much what I told him. And he said, all right, you got some balls, kid. Let's do it. So I went and took the exam. I got a 72 and a 83. You have to get 70 on both, so I barely passed the rules and regulations. I've never been a test taker, but I studied as hard as I ever have in my life. And meanwhile, my ex-wife was pregnant. I was working 60 hours a week. And, you know, I've never even been to college. So studying for these exams for me was kind of intense. I cheated my way through high school. I had girls doing my work. Everything was like the easy way out, which is kind of why I'm sitting here today. I've always chased the easy way out. So long story short, I passed the exam, and he immediately hires me or promotes me to work for the top broker. So now I'm working for this guy who's making huge money, who obviously requires hard work, and that I had no problem with. So I got this training, and we were number one for almost every month. And fast forward, a year goes by, and now here comes my first taste of success of a real level. He says, I'm going to start a new company. It's going to be a discount company because our commissions were so high. $95 to do a trade. He's like, we're losing a lot of business because there's a lot of firms charging half that. And now it's like $3 or $1 or whatever it is. So he says, I'm going to have you run it and you'll be promoted to a broker. And I was ecstatic because I built that trust, working with him. So I opened this company called Newhall Discount, and it was me and one other guy. And then I ended up being the number one retail broker in the world for 11 years straight.
No way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I broke every record in the country for commissions.
That doesn't sound like the easy way out.
No, well, that part wasn't.
Yeah.
But the easy way starts coming.
We're not there yet.
Yeah. So I'm running this company. I hire about 40 kids from my neighborhood because they see me, making a lot of money. I'm driving a Mercedes. Fast forward, let's call it 8 months, whatever. You got to build a book of business. And then at 21, ironically, the home I grew up in goes up for sale. So I buy it for $540,000. So now I move in my now 2-year-old daughter, my ex-wife and I, we have this big home.
That's kind of great, right?
That was amazing.
Back in your childhood home?
I was sleeping, it was eerie. I was sleeping in my parents'
Do you still
bedroom.
have that house?
No, I sold it.
Okay.
Didn't make any money on it, but I sold it. And the reason I sold is we moved from, this is when I started coming to South County. Our company moved from Irvine to Aliso Viejo. But anyway, I lived there for probably a year and a half, and it was eerie. I was sleeping in my parents' bedroom.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. It was such a proud moment. And then
I started here.
yeah, that's true. I was made here. I was made there.
It's all
and then,
back where it started.
it is 100%. I never thought of that. So long story short, I move. Company. I'm just making more and more money, and meanwhile, because I have more money, these guys are all gambling. And they're young kids. I mean, 25, 30-year-old guys that are just not married yet or irresponsible, but they're making so much money, really, they can't even spend it all. So I started taking bets, because I never really stopped taking bets. I just never really could afford it because I never really had any money.
You can spend it on hookers or coke, or you can spend it on gambling, which I'll happily take your money, right?
Correct. It was an invitation to obviously take it. So I saw the opportunity and I just started building a little business. Didn't really mean to. And next, I had like 50 guys.
Did you instinctually know how to run that kind of business? Or
No.
I mean, that's not something, you have to figure it out, right?
I mean, instinctually, I knew how to gamble because I was good at losing and being a
Yeah.
degenerate to other bookies, especially, when I was young. And then I instinctually realized that there's no way over time these guys can win because I've been losing my whole life at that point, gambling. I would win from running a poker house or being the house, but actually betting myself, I never won. And so I'm like, these guys can't win.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just going to make sure I have enough money to book it. So I started booking. I started making really good money to the point where it was almost as much as my regular income. And then I was like, oh, this is amazing. But it was taking up all my time because there was no internet. So I'm taking these cell phone calls, going golfing, for example, on a Saturday, and I couldn't even golf. My brother's like, well, what's the point? Like, you're on the golf course.
You're on your phone the whole time.
The whole time, right? Because, Saturdays and Sundays, it's every 2 minutes.
That's when the games are, yeah.
Yeah, half times, this, that, whatever. But I was making so much money and I loved it. I'm like, this is my thing. So as...
We're going to have to switch our golf game to Wednesday afternoon.
Well, you can't because then I'm working. But eventually, that's where it goes. But as I'm building my commodity business, my bookmaking business is growing. And I didn't even realize it was a business. And then all of a sudden, here comes the internet. And I was like, now we're talking. I saw like dollar bills So I said,
Kind of the sky's the limit at that point, right?
Well,
It's
now
away
I
from
can
your
scale
local
this.
network. Yeah.
I could scale this business. And I saw like the vision. So I was one of the forefront bookmakers to go to Costa Rica and scale it. And
Which
actually,
again, another movie, Runner.
yeah, terrible movie though. Like,
Terrible movie.
Like they could have did so much better with
I was
that.
reading them. Well, you are Ben Affleck,
Yeah,
sitting on your boat down there.
yeah. That part's pretty exciting. Which, by the way, we've had meetings with this company for my feature film, so we're hoping. But long story short, I see this opportunity, and I go to Costa Rica. I go down there, and they have what they call a per head shop. A per head shop, for those people who don't know, is like they're not the actual bookmakers. They're just a service for a bookmaker. So they don't care whether your clients win or lose. They just want you to pay to service it all. Well, clearly, I don't have to talk to people anymore. It's all recorded. There's 800 number. They can go online. There's horses on there.
Because it's overseas, there's no regulations that any.
It's legal over there,
Yeah.
not legal here. But, no one really worried about getting in trouble or that. I wasn't beating people up. I wasn't
Could you
hurting people.
file for residency and be to be a legal
No.
resident of Costa Rica and just run your income through there?
If I lived there and I never came back here. But
Gotcha.
The minute
Okay.
you're taking money from U.S., you're conducting illegal business.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's why it has to be sent there, and you got to live there. And
Gotcha.
if it's over
Okay.
here, you're in trouble. So long story short, I just built my business and just started growing like fireflies. It was really going, and then I started making much more, to the point where I hated the commodity business eventually because it was so morally, ironically, this is the paradigm here. It was so morally bad and taboo, because in commodities, I was calling a 60-year-old farmer in Wisconsin and asking him to send me every dollar I could get out of him to invest in a market that I knew that most likely he's going to lose. But yet bookmaking, they have a 50-50 chance.
You have a fighting chance to win,
and
right?
they love it. They're betting their own money. I don't tell them what to do. Yeah. They can afford it. You hope that they can afford it. I mean, there's times where it gets sticky, and it's 3 hours of entertainment.
Yeah.
It's like
And
no
they're calling you. You're not calling them, right?
I mean, they're all coming to me. I don't call.
Yeah.
I don't prospect anybody. So it felt so, even though it was illegal, it felt so much better for me.
Yeah.
So I was just really diving.
I never thought
more
of it that way.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm telling you, the commodity business for me when I was in it, not now, but was morally so bad. I mean, we should have been considered criminals because it was all legal, but it was really bad. I mean,
It kind of reminds me of the mortgage industry.
charging like an enormous amount of points and
Yeah, and those like negative amortization loans and everything, getting people into loans they knew they couldn't afford, but
correct, but they didn't care.
They wanted the commission. Yeah,
And
those
get
guys
it.
also were driving Ferraris and
Correct.
buying new houses and boats and
A lot of them were my best clients.
Yeah.
To be honest,
probably
back then, I mean, you can get
they had more money than they could spend. Yeah,
you could buy a house back then for $0 down. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
But I'm no angel, right? So that's what I was taught, is sell and raise money and make money. And I was driven. I was young. I just wanted to be number one. My ego was my enemy and still is to this day. So I was just like, I wanted to always perform and be number one. That was one thing I've always tried to do, especially when I was a young boy, because I had this drive that I got watching my mom and my parents lose everything. So I just there's no way I'm going to be number two.
but you managed to keep it all a secret, which is crazy. Or at least to me, it was a secret.
For a while, but which we'll get to, it was hard to hide and mask at later parts of my life. But I did try, yes, because I didn't want eyes on me. But at 25 years old, now I have another opportunity. The owner of our company is basically selling off pieces, and he asked me to come to Len Waldock. It's a discount firm in Chicago, and it's the largest discount firm in the world. And he asked me to go run it. And I didn't want to move to Chicago, but here's a guy who's giving me this major opportunity. He's asking me a favor. So I just go do it. So I live in Chicago for like 6 months, flying back and forth. But I walk into this company, and I talk about this in the book, and you have guys, it's 600 plus employees, 6 floors. They have a full kitchen, chefs. I mean, it's everything you would see like on a very high-end law firm.
Yeah.
Where everyone's in suits. I mean, we wore suits and ties too, but like it's in Chicago. It's just everything you would think.
It's
you
very
would see.
professional. It's like Mad Men style, right?
Yeah, totally different than where I came from here, which was beach kids that are wearing suits and ties, but really shouldn't be in a suit and tie, and are not ultra professional. They're just sharks on the phone, good sales guys. These guys are like true chart readers, traders. So anyway, for me to come in and teach our sales the type of sales I was doing was ultra different than what they were doing. I mean, they were true guys who were just, kind of lazy. They're dinosaurs. They've been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
So I walk in this company and there's all these employees, and here's this punk kid that Mickey introduces saying, this is the guy you're going to learn from. He's going to be running the company. And I'm like, Mickey, let me handle this. Like, this isn't going to go well. So just give me the floor. So I get up, and all these guys are, like I said, 60, 50, whatever. And I said, listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how great I am. There's no point in that. I'm half your age. What I'm going to do is prove it to you. So here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, Saturday, go to your desk and grab 10 of the worst leads you've ever had. I don't care how bad it is. I'm going to come in on Saturday. I'm going to put every sales call on the microphone. You're going to hear verbatim every call I make and what they say. You guys just come to work and you sit in your desk and you laugh at me. And let's see what I got. And you give me the worst lead you have. So you could tell they're chuckling, right? So they obviously go to their desk.
Sounds like a fun Saturday.
Well, I knew it was going to be hell because I knew they were going to give me the fucking worst of the worst. But I was really good on the phone. So I'm like, no problem. So long story short.
This is why we like doing it
Yeah.
in downtown San Juan Capistrano.
Well, the beautiful thing is it's background music.
We don't fake it here.
It's background music. So I come into work on a Saturday, and all these employees, I'm a little nervous, of course, because I'm really good at what I do, but you still need to close and perform. So they put it on the intercom, and I start calling. I get hung up on, fuck you, you guys keep calling, just keep going.
Lose my number.
Yeah, I heard that quite a bit. So what I used as a tactic that was different was I would say, hey, Evan, how's it going? Yeah, who's this? And I'd say, it's me, it's Matt. Remember we spoke like 7 weeks ago? And then right away that really drops their guard because they feel like they're an asshole if they don't remember. Of course, I'm completely full of shit. I didn't speak to you 7 weeks ago, but they feel a little obligated to stay on the phone. And I'd say, yeah, remember I called you. I'm Matt from Lynn Wallach. I called you 7 weeks ago. You're in Green Bay, right? You saw the Packer game. And I start talking about something else, drop their guard, get them a little comfortable. What is it again you're calling about? Oh, remember you took this course. There's always a course that would take. I'd say you took the Ken Roberts course, and we were talking about soybeans. And they're like, oh, I told you I didn't want to do that. And then I would go right back into, well, never mind that for a minute. Brett Favre had the best game ever last week. I mean, did you watch the game? And, you try to find something
to some commonality, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mirror the person you're talking to. So I would do that to get them to just get to like me, right? People buy things from people they like, period. Even if you're overpaying, that's just reality. So I was really teaching that more than anything, because what separated me
I need
from
you to talk
others-
to my wife because apparently she likes a lot of people.
Well, if it's handbags and things like that, that's a tough one. I deal with the same problem. But the reality is, you drop their guard, you get them to like you, you mirror the customer, and I ended up closing 6 deals that day, and it was $180,000 in equity, which is not a ton, but it's enough from dog shit that
to prove a point, right?
Yeah, they respected me times 1,000. So that was my point. Now they're listening to me. So for 6 months, I was supposed to be there a year. I trained these guys. We tripled their numbers. I got out of there in 6 months, and that was my job. But in that process, I built another group of guys who were gambling, who are now betting with my website.
Now based in Chicago.
I now have a lot of customers in Chicago. And then I started learning the moral of the story is I started learning to how do I scale it even more? So I would go to a guy. I'd say, hey, Tim, I'm going to be leaving here, but guess what? If you go out and recruit, just like I did, to get you to play on my website, I'll give you 20% of all proceeds. You have no risk, and you build your own little.
It almost turns into like a multi-level marketing.
Well, it is basically. Yeah. They have a tree of customers.
Yeah.
So fast forward to when I got raided by the feds in 2023, I had 48 agents across the country.
Oh, wow.
So if I'm an agent, how much money am I making?
10 to 50%, depending on of all the proceeds, depending on how involved you were. Do you collect? Do you pay? Well, you're going to pay with my money, but do you collect? Do you deal with all the clients, or do I deal with your clients and give you a lower percentage? Those options were based on you. Some people didn't want to deal with your friends because they're friends.
Yeah.
Some people just wanted stay at, let's call it arm's length.
A little more anonymous.
Yeah. But the ones who want to do all of the work and deal and just turn in a package of whatever the players lost or won, that was 50%.
Are they making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year?
Tens.
Millions a year?
Not millions, but definitely hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Especially at 50% if you have the right players.
And it's at that point, the hours are probably a side hustle for them, right?
Yeah,
Or-
it's fun too.
and that's fun. Yeah,
here's
it's
the
like
thing.
fantasy football for them almost, right?
It's better because
Except
say,
they're making money.
and they have no risk. I mean, I'm risking
Yeah.
all the money. I'm the house.
Yeah.
So you might sign up 10 guys, and they lose 100 grand. So you get 50 just collecting it, and then you turn in the 50 to me. You keep the proceeds, and we off we
Seems
go.
like- yeah, it seems like a good deal.
It is. It's
Why
just
didn't,
illegal.
why didn't we talk about this 10 years ago?
Well, you don't want the feds at your home.
I don't want the fence at my home.
It's not a good feeling.
All 48 of these guys felt the effects of you getting raided too, or it's
I took it on the chin.
Yeah.
Not one person in my business got. In fact, they all got immunity.
I was gonna say, are their names all kind of red flagged now for the rest of their lives?
Well,
or
I would say no because they didn't really want them. All they wanted was the shark,
Yeah.
the top fish. But there's a possibility if they continue down this path and their names keep popping up. Because what happens is when you're raided by the feds, they take your electronics, they plug it into obviously their system.
extracts everything out of it, right?
And if Tim's name comes up in 10 different raids, we all know Tim is doing something he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Why are you in 10 guys' phones that just got busted? It's very, it's very
It's
obvious.
very suspicious.
Yeah. I mean, Tim just has happened to be friends with 10, criminals. So, that's one of their ways.
So it had to be a year ago. We were at the petting zoo with our kids, and you and I were having this conversation. I think you had just said you just finished your book, which I'm like, how did you finish the book? The story is just starting. But
Right.
now that I'm kind of reading stuff, I understand kind of the process you went through. But you had mentioned that you were cooperating with the government,
Right.
and that the bigger fish was Resorts World in Las Vegas. And at that point, you thought you were going to get a slap on the hand.
I would say house arrest.
Yeah, you're
That's-
like it's not gonna be as big of a deal because I'm cooperating. I'm not the one they have their targets on.
Correct.
Something over the last year shifted. I just recently read that you stopped cooperating with them
I did.
because of a change in with Trump coming into office. Can you talk a little bit about that, or
That's part of it.
Yeah.
The real reason is that this case is 2 years old already. They just postponed. Or
I can't believe it's 2 years old already. To be honest with you, that
next month will be 2 years, and they wanted to push back my court date again because the Resorts World Las Vegas is pushing back against the government. I don't know the details; they won't tell me. But because they're pushing back and not settling, and paying a big fine, they're pushing us back. Anyone who's involved in the case, me being one of them. And I made a deal with the United States government that I won't talk about anyone on my telephone, but I will help them with a smile in regards to the casino, because I felt like they were just as guilty as me, allowing me to launder $13 million through their casino and lose that much. But which is really sad because all they got to do is pay a fine. I'm a father of 5, and I have to go to prison.
did I read their fine was actually less than $13 million? They actually made money through this whole.
$10.5 million, and between me and another bookmaker, we lost $24.5 million. So they've netted 14.
So they made millions.
They made
through
14
this,
million,
yeah.
and no one's going to jail or anything. Which I don't want anyone to go to jail, but
yeah, sure, we're not going to do that again.
yeah, it's definitely which I was rated in 2014 by the feds.
Yeah.
And because they just took the money and didn't charge me with anything, I built my business 4 times, 5 times bigger. It's the same message, really. I mean, just telling you, hey, you're only going to make 14 million. So, but I can't play victim. So what I chose was, this might go on 2, 3, 4 more years, and I can't deal with it. I can't move on with my life. I can't sell my book. I couldn't even launch my book. I couldn't even move on with all the things I plan on doing, and which are all happening now. Now that I'm going to go do my time and come out and show the world what I'm capable of on the legal side again, I can move forward. And yeah, it sucks that I mean, it's terrible that I'm going to end up in prison for probably 8 months. A year sentence is about 8 months probably, but that 8 months will go by fast. And when I come out, this thing will still be going.
Do you know where you're going to prison already?
I requested Lompoc,
Okay.
which is like 4 hours from here.
Okay.
But you have to wait for the Bureau of Prisons to designate you, and I got to hope there's a bed. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to go out of state.
Does it seem weird that they didn't give you house arrest?
No.
No?
I mean, I was one of the biggest bookmakers in the country.
Yeah.
I think they had to send I think the judge was very fair, actually, considering the amount of money that I've made and the tax charge that I have, the money laundering. Bookmaking really is the lowest of the charges, but the tax charge was still a little debatable. My defense, that wasn't accepted, but at the end of the day, I did not pay the proper amount of taxes.
Yeah.
But I lost $4 million in the casino, and they wouldn't let me offset that against my business.
How do you, so when you're paying taxes each year, like what, you clearly can't say I have an illegal bookmaking business. Like what were you saying your income was? Like how are you saying
Professional
you paid?
gambler.
You were, okay. So
Yeah.
you were a
Yeah.
professional gambler then. And you actually had the records to back it up.
I did, and I paid.
Yeah.
I mean, I paid $683,000 on my tax return in 22. But again, I lost $4 million. But because I was running a legal business, they wouldn't allow me to offset the losses I had in the casino against it.
Oh man. Okay. So we talked, or you mentioned about the raid, and I have an interesting perspective on the FBI coming to your house that I don't know if I'm sure you have, but we have, you guys referred us to a swim coach for Camila.
Oh yes, he was there that day. That is right. Conrad.
Coach Conrad said that he was driving down to give Kingston his swim lesson, and when he drove down, there was a couple dozen FBI agents with like
ARs.
semi-automatic AR rifles. And I don't know if you were on the ground handcuffed or Nicole was on the ground handcuffed, but he said, Matt looked at me and he's like, not a good day today, coach.
That is correct. Conrad, that's so funny you say that. At no point have I even thought of exactly what you just said until now, and I do recall that. It's been a fog for me, and that moment was clearly a fog. But Nicole was handcuffs. I wasn't because I was holding my son.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do recall him pulling down, and I saw that terror in his
He
eyes.
said he's like, I did not know what to think. He's like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but it sounds like you know about like this happening.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy. So just to give you a description of the scene, I was putting my son in my wife's G-Wagon, and I hear FBI freeze, and I really thought it was friends of mine screwing around. And I look over, and there was literally 8 weapons, and they looked like they were, going in Iraq. I mean, they had the full battle gear, and I was like, wow. So you freeze, of course, and you're stunned, and then they allowed me to grab my son out of the car seat, and then they handcuffed my professor from my jiu-jitsu studio, who was on the other side, and then they said, who's in the house? Who's in the house? And I said, well, my wife and a handyman. And then, of course, in my mind, I'm like, God, this poor woman. So they go in with the whole battle gear, and
there's no way you can give her a heads up to what's coming. It's like they just probably barged in the door.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they're pounding on the damn thing,
Yeah.
of course. And then they come in because they don't know what they're coming into. So I
Right.
understand their position, and I'm sure they've
That's
seen
safety first. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure they've seen a lot of bad scenarios with guys with weapons or whatnot. But I think they kind of knew. They did their homework on me.
What time was it? Early in the morning?
9:30.
Yeah, because I was like, the guy, as horrible as it sounds, the neighbor across from us has had his house raided by the FBI, but it was like at 5 in the morning.
That's when they usually come. I think they were kind to me. They knew I had children, and I think they were allowing my kids to go to school, which is I really appreciate. Clearly, Kingston.
Then
was
you
too
have an
little.
empty house. It's not.
Yeah, not traumatic for them. And when they went in, they grabbed Nicole, they grabbed the handyman, cuffed us all, separated us on you're not allowed to talk to each other. And then the dog goes in. There was 29 of them. They secured the premise. And then once they do that, that whole team, I would say 8 or 10 guys, they leave because that's their sole mission.
Once they know it's safe and they've got it under control, you don't need everybody there.
Correct.
Do you think Kingston will remember this?
I don't. I truly don't.
Because he was only, what, one
Two.
maybe 2?
It was 2.
Okay.
I hope not. I don't think so. I mean, even now, like, we wonder, he's very intelligent, but we wonder if he's going to even recognize that I'm gone for 6 to 8 months.
Right.
We're not going to tell him.
I don't remember anything that happened when I
don't
was
either.
4, except that I had a really cool, like, jet toy, and that's the only thing I remember from back then.
Yeah, me either. And I just hope that he doesn't.
the stupidest thing I remember.
Well, it was a heck of a jet toy.
Yeah, it was. It was so good. It was one of the, not the Blue Angels. What's the other one?
You lost me.
No idea.
That's like like the Blue Angels. There's like the Air Force version. It was those guys.
They were serious.
Sounds not as cool as
It's
the Blue
not.
Angels.
It's not as cool.
It really made an impression on you, though.
It did.
You should thank your parents for that.
So that's got to be pretty heavy for Nicole, right? Like,
Yeah.
so here was something that Evan and I were talking. Clearly, she had to know things were a little bit off with your income.
Oh, no, she knew
Did she
everything.
know from the very beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm very transparent, as you
Okay.
could tell by my podcast and everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I really have nothing to hide, especially now. And at the end of the day, I actually I've told all my kids. I've told her from day one exactly what I was doing.
Was she ever afraid that you were going to get caught, or did she know there
She
was a chance?
more afraid of a home invasion than she was.
Which is what she thought was happening. She said she thought that she's like, all right, this is the day I die. Like,
Yeah, she was she was actually
pretty sure.
happy it was the feds.
Yeah.
because at least she wasn't going to get raped or murdered or.
There's a lot of home invasions happening by us right now, and you guys, where your house sits, not to like
No,
put
it's
you
true.
in a scary spot, but it's actually
Very secluded.
Very secluded. Yeah.
Yeah, even to this day, that's why we have a new guard dog. She worries about that because you're right. There's the Chilean gangs or whatever that are coming in and happening in our neighborhood. So that's a concern. So she was pleasantly happy that it was federal agents and not home invasion, but definitely traumatic experience. In fact, the other day, my Audible version just came out on my book 2 days ago. So it was yesterday. We were driving to Fashion Island with my son and Nicole. So I'm like nervous to hear my voice. I haven't heard it yet, even though I recorded it.
He narrated his own book.
Oh,
I thought it was
yeah,
super
wow.
cool.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is hard.
Yeah.
by the way. That
I
is
bet.
the hardest
That's a
thing.
real book. It's 400 pages long.
Yeah, it's 85,000 words, and I'm telling you, I haven't read a book myself in forever, but when you read your own book or any book for that matter, your reading skills have to be really good, and then also your tonality and just everything. So the guy would be like, "Nope, do it again. Nope," and so you repeat the same sentence 17 times.
How long did it take to track that?
3 8-hour sessions.
Whoa. That actually doesn't seem too bad. But
I think he was very
Considering.
impressed with. He thought it would take 4 days,
Yeah.
but I knocked it out. But moral of the story is, I wasn't sure how it was going to sound. I mean, we all hate our own voice anyway. So
Evan doesn't hate his own voice.
well,
but he's got a really good voice.
That
yeah.
beard, that beard.
Tell him, he's
helps
got the
too.
best voice. Yeah.
It's the beard. I'm
Voice
telling you.
made for podcasting.
The face made for radio.
You do it. He does have
You've
a
got
great
the
voice.
body of a god and the face to protect it.
Actually, your voice is a very good voice for radio. So we put the audio on, and we're driving, and then I don't know, maybe got to the toll road, on the 73, and it's like opening scene of FBI, whatever. And then I look over at Nicole, and she's like, tears just coming down.
Oh, no, she's reliving it all.
Yeah.
It's too close to home.
Yeah.
And then my son, in the
okay,
back seat,
Mom?
no, he heard me say Nicole coming out crying. He didn't even see her crying. He's like, "Mommy, why were you crying?" I'm like, "We got to shut this thing off.
Yeah.
This is not good."
Now isn't the right time.
No. So anyway, that's all I've heard is the first 5 sentences.
Yeah.
And but I'm hoping that we'll sit down and listen to it because it's more emotional actually listening to it than reading it.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this goes back to like we were talking about, like now you have like the book is great, but to have like a recorded version of your story, I think it's something that not everybody has. And I think we lose a lot of, when we lose interesting people, we lose all the stories with them.
Right.
So it's great that now it's kind of immortalized in a book and an audio
Yeah.
version.
Thank you. I actually, going back to talking about earlier, the dark moments, this is when I first got raided. I knew my life was changing beyond drastically, right? I just knew it. I felt it. I've always had a really good sense of feel of people. That's why I think I've been successful. I could feel like energy. I could read cards pretty well. There's been 2 occasions that my wife will verify this, where I knew the next 5 hands that were coming out. I know this sounds weird. I haven't actually said this on a podcast yet. I was in
Unique content. Listen now.
record. There's a place called La Berge. It's a casino in Louisiana. And I had this epiphany moment. It was really weird. And I said to all my people, all my friends at the table, I said, listen, if the next hand is banker, I promise you I know what's coming after that. I give you my word. It was like, I'm not even a spiritual guy. I promise. And of course it comes banker. So we max bet the next hand, whatever it was, banker or player, I don't remember. And we won. And now they're like looking at me like, okay. I said, I got 4 more hands. I guarantee I know what's coming. I'm just telling you. I've never been so confident in my life. I'm a very confident, egotistical prick anyway. So I say, all right, here we go. So,
I wouldn't say I've ever seen you be an egotistical prick, by the way.
well, when you see in the Rolls Royce and the way I'm being sarcastic, but I definitely am very confident in myself, right? And sometimes too much. So I bet max bet again, and we win. And now we've won 3 hands in a row. And I'm like,
I still got the 4th.
No, I had 2 more.
Oh.
And so now we're asking the floor if we could bet more because the limits at LeBare's were less. I could only bet at that time 40,000, and everybody I think was 20. So we're betting like 100 a hand. So you're winning a lot of money, but I want to bet 500,000.
Yeah, if you know, like if it's a sure thing.
I mean, nothing's sure, but like truly, I felt it. So we won 5 hands in a row, and everyone's on the highest high ever, right? They're like, "What's next?" And I'm like, "I have no idea.
Yeah.
I truly don't know."
I only had those 5. Yeah.
and it was the weirdest thing. And you can
Do
ask
you,
Nicole.
do you
this.
walk at that point, or do you stay and play?
No, of course not. I'm
Okay.
a degenerate. Kept playing. I bet you we lost it all back. But the point is, like, I've never had,
What a rush.
two moments like that, and both of them have been spot on. Like, it was really weird. And everyone would ask me all the time, "Do we have another one?" I'm like, "No, I don't know where that came from." So those moments, I actually didn't write that in the book because it sounds so far fetched. But Nicole will tell you it was wild. To really know your future,
Yeah.
But back to my point, I've always been very good at reading people. I've made errors in judgment, but I'm pretty good at reading, and that's what I think I've been so good as a bookmaker, because you have to. It's a major talent when you're moving $5 to $7 million on a Monday morning every week, and you have to move it throughout the country, and you need to know, before you give some guy $1 million credit line or these crazy limits. Those errors in judgment could be massive. I've had plenty of people stiff me. I had a guy stiff me $12 million. I walked away from $44 million recently because I can't collect the money.
You clearly are not a small guy. I don't see you as a physically violent person, but if I lose a bet with you, is it like old Vegas rules that you will come down and beat my ass to get the money? Like, how do you enforce getting? You're not going to garnish my wages because that's just not going to happen with an illegal business.
If when you read the book, you'll see a couple stories. A guy pulls a gun on me. Younger years, I was really stupid. To be honest, when I was like 28, 30 years old, I used to think I was Tito Ortiz. Watch the UFC, and I thought I would whip his ass.
He used to be the door guy at my old bar in Huntington Beach.
I wrestled not against him, but Huntington Beach High School he went to. I was Pacifica. I was too little. But my point is, I was in really good shape when I was young, and I was bigger than I am now. And I thought, like, oh, no one's going to whip my ass, which is really funny because, now that I train jiu-jitsu, I realize 90% of these people will all whip my ass.
Yeah.
But that being said, I would go to your door and definitely I would confront anyone who owed me money. And I would bring a 6'6" Samoan with tattoos and rings and earrings and all kinds of shit. He just looked like hell.
So it is a bit of like the old school thug.
This is going back 20 years ago.
Gotcha.
And since I met Nicole, I never did any of that. And then I learned a lesson that when a guy pulled a gun on me, I realized that, I'm just risking my life for $88,000. Like, I can make that in 5 minutes. What are you thinking?
So is it more you find people that are more honorable?
I just vet them better.
Yeah.
When I was doing this, I would train my agents and myself, especially as time went on. See, when I was 30-ish, people were more honorable than they are today by far. Yeah. It's no different than we just talked about the keyboard warrior thing, right? The way the world is now is nothing like it was. You guys know this 20 years ago.
Right.
Respect, opening doors for women, older people. It's all
lost.
all
going away, right?
It's really sad.
If not gone, yeah.
It's really sad. Yeah. That being said, the same thing happened in the bookmaking business. It's just slowly deteriorated. So I would never, 2 years ago, right before I got raided, I would never give a credit line to some guy without having a great referral, having a good understanding of what they do for a living, where they live, et cetera. If it's a smaller account, I'll take more risk, of course, because it's a couple grand, whatever. But to answer your question, no, I would come off firm, but I would never.
You never had to chase somebody, or
I wouldn't say never had. That was.
Yeah. What's the biggest hit you ever took from somebody not paying back?
Ipe Mizahara, $24 million.
That was the one I was expecting, but
yeah. And then the second one after that is in my book, $12 million. From a guy who has the money, which is really frustrating.
Are you allowed to say who he is? Or?
Yeah, Kevin Washington.
And where is he local? Or?
He lives in Colorado now. He used to live in Malibu in a $45 million home, and his father is very, very, very rich, like $6 billion, I think.
Oh, he's the one that's the billionaire's son.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
With Ipe, do you think had this whole thing? I mean, obviously it was a ticking time bomb. It was the roof was going to blow off. I imagine you knew that anyway, right? Do you think he would have paid in full, or do you think he was just at that point tapped out and you were never going to see that money?
Well, now I would say that yes, but you have to look if you look at the text messaging between Ipe and
I read some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the day that the feds came and nabbed me, let me take that even a step further. Even then, to the day that ESPN came to my door, and then they later grabbed Ipe and had an interview with him. I didn't know if it was Shohei or Ipe.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I kind of assumed it was Shohei Ohtani, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't ask because I always tell people if someone's sending you $500,000 every 2 weeks, I mean,
I'm not going to ask any questions.
no, I was very happy receiving $500,000 every 2 weeks, and he was showing no signs at all, other than making fun of himself, of disarray. Like it wasn't like he was.
There was
oh
a
my
lot
God.
of LOLs, and it's like, I'm a degenerate gambler.
Yeah.
LOL. Like
I suck at this.
Yeah.
Can you give me more credit? I'm terrible. I'm terrible too, I would say, because we all know what it's like to lose gambling. But he definitely never showed any serious signs of problem until my last text to him, which is, it's all bullshit. This is a cover up. And he says, this is a key word that I think is really needs to be, he says, technically, I fucked up. So technically, what do you mean by technically?
Yeah.
And I believe that that's the part that's still a big question mark. I don't believe Shohei Ohtani did any bets. I really don't. But I do believe that at some point he knew or helped him. Maybe
What was
initially.
going on? Yeah.
I don't know how long that lasted. I don't know if he just helped him with one wire. He claims that he had no knowledge. It's hard to, say he's a liar because he's pretty much almost a perfect human being from
At
what
this
I've
point,
seen.
right?
So I hate to even throw that out there, but I'm just going by what Ipe said originally, and then he changed his tune. But regardless, Shohei did nothing wrong.
How do you not know millions of dollars are missing from your bank account? But I guess when you make that much money, it probably is like the equivalent of me losing $20, right?
I think 17 million. I think anyone would notice. I think Elon Musk would notice. That's my opinion. Over a long period of time.
Over a long period of time,
If it was
right?
like over 2 weeks, that's different. But
Yeah.
over 18 months, I mean, how do you not notice that?
Yeah.
I find that
You
hard
think
to believe.
Ipe had this going with other bookies too, or were you like his sole guy?
I believe I was the sole guy.
Yeah.
When I first met him, he did have an account, and I don't know who that was through. I think it was an actual legal sports book, to be honest. But the reason I say that is it would have came out. The federal government would have, and whoever that other bookmaker was would probably be sitting in the same shoes I'm in right now.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So
Do you think it's ironic that your job was called bookmaker and now you are physically a bookmaker, like literally a bookmaker?
what's funny is on my Instagram,
You know how long I've been waiting to ask you that question?
the whole hour and a half.
Finally, I got it in there.
It's funny because I'll answer to some people, oh, what did you do wrong? And I'll say I was an illegal bookmaker. And they're like, you got busted for making books? And, usually they're
They weren't
women
very
who don't
good.
gamble. Yeah. My book sucks.
Yeah, my book was no good.
But yeah, it's because a lot of, especially women who don't gamble or about sports, they
Sure.
don't understand that term.
Yeah.
So who else? So we know Ipe, you had said Pete Rose was one of your clients.
He was a very great guy, man.
Have you met him and hung
Many
out?
times. Yeah.
God, that's cool.
I put horses with him.
And then anyone else that
Quite a bit of people.
are they all in the book?
No, I
Who
chose
haven't you mentioned that you haven't told on other podcasts?
Tim DeBrincat.
Close. I don't know that guy, but I know Tim DeBrincat, and he doesn't have 50
Oh, did I
cents
say
to
your
gamble.
name wrong?
Yep.
I've been calling you Brindacat.
You don't like. So many people say Brid.
how do you
That's
say
why
it?
the feds haven't raided you yet,
Oh,
man.
shit.
You gave them the
They don't know
wrong
how to find
name.
me.
Now you're screwed.
No, it's DeBrincat.
Oh well, I'm going to keep Brindacat.
Bridnicat's fine, yeah. The thing that's funny is you're not the first person that's called me Bridnicat, and I don't know what it is with my last name that
Well, you said my last name wrong.
it's Bowyer.
That's Bowyer.
Oh, Bowyer.
So we're even.
Okay. That's right. Nicole corrected me once because I said Nicole Bowyer, and she's like, it's Bowyer.
It looks like that though, because the W.
It's
but-
Bowyer.
yeah, but
Bo?
we
You're-
change it.
He just got you back.
Yeah,
I know. Touche. All right.
Yeah. I knew the real pronunciation.
Yeah.
but,
Do you like? So I noticed you say Mathew. Do you like Mathew or Matt?
I like Matt, but I did that because, to be honest, it sounded more professional. I wanted to act like I was somebody I'm
Like
not.
a real published, published writer.
Yeah, sophisticated. Oh, I'm far from it, as you can see. Look at my attire and look at the way I. whatever.
Trust me. I also he told me I wear sports. What was it? Sports fabric.
Yeah, you like
So
sports
we have
fabrics.
Evan looks dapper.
where we grabbed a coffee. There's a clothing brand that sublets that space called Free Note Cloth.
Okay.
Which I believe that's Free Note Cloth.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Evan is head to toe Free Note Cloth.
Yeah, I love it.
But
He's
we were going to
dapper.
do some work with them, and these guys are very protective of their brand, and I love it. And I'm like, I think that's, you want to have a business, that's the best way to do it. Make sure that your people are your people.
Sure.
But I love their clothes, but I think like I'm the guy that they don't want to wear their clothes.
You're a bad representation.
So yeah, like they're like very much salt of the earth, working with your hands. It's
Okay.
like their clothes are like the nicest clothes, but they're all handmade in Los Angeles, and
Okay.
it's like the best of the best materials.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they said the day that they start seeing like doctors and lawyers wearing their clothes, they know that they've
Lucky
like,
for
kind
you,
of
you're
sold
not
out.
you're not either.
I'm not either. I'm a sports cloth wearing Levi's owner.
But they definitely don't understand you. I see you as a guy as like a welder. Like you're just deep in the mill.
See, I got
right?
scruffed.
Right?
Look at these baby soft hands.
They know
a
you
welder.
well.
That would burn me.
They know you well. That's my point. They have picked you out perfectly there.
Hey, by the way, I did dive into a pickleball net this weekend, so
Yeah.
you got
I'm
frisky.
active.
Sounds like inadvertently.
Were you
Inadvertently.
gambling on that game?
He's
Why are you diving?
throwing it.
If I gamble, I'm gambling that I am not going to win.
Okay.
Do
Especially-
you, as a degenerate, as a self-proclaimed degenerate gambler, do you only gamble sports, or do you find
Oh no.
all sorts of different random things to gamble?
I would be gambling with you in pickleball.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to gamble, so
Yeah.
I'm not gambling now. But truth be told, we'd gamble. I gambled 40,000 on a 40-yard dash with Owen Hansen, the guy that's the California kid. He also has a crazy story. But we was play 50,000 a hole in golf, and we did a 40-yard dash because he's 7 years younger than me, and he's
Yeah.
like 6'3". I beat him, but
Yeah.
if we would have ran 60 yards, he would have won. Though he was catching me.
Yeah.
But I'm quick. I'm
Yeah.
pretty quick for my size. So.
Did you get mods on it? Or you,
No, straight up.
Just straight up.
Yeah.
And he paid?
He paid.
All right.
No way.
He's very
All
honorable.
right.
Yeah, he's a very honorable guy. His story is, I don't know if you guys have heard it, but he did 9.5 years in prison. Just got out about a year ago, and he was working with the cartel.
Tina's heard of him.
Yeah.
She's nodding over here.
Hold him up.
That's my good buddy. We used to book a lot of guys together. And yeah, I would collect for him.
Okay.
Back when I was younger and more stupid.
Did
Yeah.
he kind of teach you the ropes and what you needed to do, or?
Well, in my book, you hear the story. No, it's quite the opposite.
I got to read more of the book. So
Yeah, you're a hater.
hey, I bought it the first week it came out, by the way.
And look, it's been
And-
what, 3 weeks? You haven't
There's not
read
even
it?
any dust on it yet.
Well, if you're bored, just
There's also
listen to the
not
audio.
there's not a dog-eared page yet either.
Yeah.
I have purposefully put my bookmarker on the inside so you wouldn't see how little or how far I made. But it's
Listen,
in there
Tim.
so I wouldn't lose my place.
Tim, I don't know how much more interesting of a life you want to read about. I mean, I got to really. Oh, actually, Owen, she's pulling him up. He was running. He got caught with 300 kilos of cocaine in Australia. He was a bookmaker. He was moving stuff for the cartel. His story's pretty bananas.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was way far and beyond what just bookmaking. though.
Yeah, he doesn't have a family, and he definitely was doing a lot of cocaine, which I've never done in my life. But in fact, I didn't know what a shoulder bump was until I met him. Do you guys know what that is?
I do not.
I mean, I know this one where you.
That's what I thought it was. But no, he put a bunch of pink cocaine on my shoulder. He says, "Yeah, you're in the nightclub, and you don't want to go to the restroom because the bouncers are watching. So you just drop a little bump here, and you shoulder bump right off your shoulder." I'm like, "Okay, Owen. Okay, I didn't know what that was, but that's interesting."
Yeah, I'll just stick with my old fashioned, right?
But that's what I chose. But he literally did the shoulder bump on my shoulder. It wasn't
No
just
way.
it wasn't a display. I was
Yeah.
like,
That's funny.
I have a bunch of pink cocaine on my shoulder. I'm like, I've never even been near cocaine. It was the closest I've ever been to it. But it was
man.
pink. I was like, is that normally white? He's like, yeah, this is the best of the best.
This is a different one.
Yeah. So he's a very interesting guy. But he's building. I'm really proud of him. He's building this protein ice cream brand that he made in prison.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and he's actually Nicole and I. It's 20 grams of protein in each ice cream bar, and it tastes delicious.
Oh, I think I saw you promoting that the other day.
Yeah, I'm really proud of him.
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he anyway, he's trying to kind of follow. When he got out, I picked him up. I put money on his books, and I told him, I said, "Look, man, just stay away from getting back into this business. You're just going to end up back in prison." And he's following that. It's hard though because you're starting from scratch. You have no money. He has nothing.
Yeah, it's hard.
And
It's hard to come up from zero, especially when you're living that lifestyle.
And you're a felon.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like, I can't go get a state license. I can't do anything.
Do you think you would ever work for anybody at this point, or at this point, are you? I mean, you have that entrepreneurial spirit that I think you kind of have
Yeah.
to be your own boss, right?
Tim, I would do anything to feed my family. So if I have to, I will.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to avoid that because I believe I can always do more as an entrepreneur.
We are hiring a busboy here at Thatch Creative. if
Well, I may be
got experience.
I may be here. Yeah, I'm good at chips and salsa, and I'll talk to you. And maybe
We've
I
got
can work my way
Ricardo's
up.
next door.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, if I have to, I will.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I already have. I'm doing my first motivational speaking event on the 24th.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that because that's kind of my passion, motivating people. Hopefully, they get inspired by my story, and then I think I'm going to be really. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable in front of a camera, but
Yeah.
on stage, I think I'll be even
It's
better.
a whole different experience. Yeah, but I see you doing really, really well at that too.
I mean,
Not
for
to
me-
like be on Team Matt. I'm on Team Matt, but I think
No, thank you.
That's you've got a very solid future.
I think it's going to be
doing
big.
motivational speaking.
Yeah, I went to an event with Nicole 2 weeks ago. So my friend he's a very wealthy guy. He has like 650 financial advisors under him. And they throw this huge event in Del Mar. And it's like 4 days and they bring in 7 speakers. So he's like, hey, come down and check it out because you want to do this. So we went down there and the lowest paid speaker was 10,000. I went to 20 and then 30 and 70 for some rock climber. And then Terry Crews closed the event for 130,000, you know, the actor.
Yeah, he was just the MC of Oakley's 50-year anniversary.
Okay.
We went out.
we just went to.
Evan and I met working at Oakley years ago.
But I mean, obviously, if I have to, I will.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I already have. I'm doing my first motivational speaking event on the 24th.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that because that's kind of my passion, motivating people. Hopefully, they get inspired by my story, and then I think I'm going to be really. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable in front of a camera, but
Yeah.
on stage, I think I'll be even
It's
better.
a whole different experience. Yeah, but I see you doing really, really well at that too.
My point to you is he was very good. I actually learned a lot from him, but I think I can compete with him truly. Even, I mean, I'll be first 5 or 6, I'll learn and get better, but I don't know. I just feel like that's my calling. So that's my plan.
So is that the legacy for Matt Bowyer going forward? I mean, how are you?
Bowyer, see, he said it right.
He did. See,
yeah,
that's why I
see.
like him. He's got a good beard.
Yeah, so I guess tell us a little bit about that legacy though. Now, where do you see, the future of your life going?
Thank you.
here?
We're filming the documentary right now.
Cool.
They filmed me 2 days before the sentencing, and then they filmed, of course, on the way to the
I saw
sentencing.
it's a younger kid that you hire. Or did you hire him, or did he find you?
No, this is I signed a shopping agreement with The Cut.
Okay.
They're an amazing company. I don't know if you guys have seen Osama bin Laden's on Netflix.
Yep.
O.J. Simpson and Boston Bombing. They
Yep.
did all 3 of those. The reason I had like 12 offers. It was cool to get this attention, right? I'm like,
Sure.
Oh, I actually have a lot of offers.
Yeah.
But how do I choose which company? Because they all kind of provide the same service. It's just who's going to put out the best documentary. And theirs are like movies.
Yeah.
It's amazing, especially Osama. That one crushed it. And I was like, I want that. I don't want just me sitting in a chair, people making fun of my beard. I don't need that.
These guys are out with you at court appearances and everything, right?
They followed us everywhere, filmed every
Yeah,
part
I mean,
of it.
that's great.
Yeah, so we were catching that, and the plan is the hard part's going to be when Nicole drives me to prison.
Yeah.
We're going to have to film that, and it's going to be a tough moment, right?
Yeah.
So we have to show that, though, because going back to my original, when I got raided, I had this vision, and the vision I had, nobody really was aligned with. Like, I could tell, it's weird, but whenever people question your vision, usually, for me, I believe in it even more because I'm not a sheep follower. So I didn't have Instagram or any social media my whole life. Yeah. So a year ago, I opened my Instagram account, and my kids made fun of me. They're like, "Oh, your font is like grandpa style and this and that." And I was learning it, right? But I have built this little cult following, and I say that in a positive way, like where people have had my back and supportive, and like I've inspired people and I've helped
It's
them.
because you're being social on social media, by the way.
Yeah,
You're
well,
actually,
and
you
it's
actually
real.
are talking to people.
And you're being
and-
authentic,
Yeah.
right? And I think people smell the bullshit so
They do,
quick.
100%.
And when you're not just feeding the bullshit,
Yeah,
it comes
well,
off.
Well, the problem with social media is everyone puts their life to be perfect,
Yeah.
and their husband and wife, but yet the husband's out banging some broad the next night, and the wife's doing something or whatever, and it's like it's so fake. With me, I talk about all the down problems too. I mean, of course, I show good things that we've done, but I talk about being freaking almost depressed, and being in a dark moment, and I want people to see that because no one's really documented a court case from the minute they're in trouble
Yeah.
until they usually do it after they get out of prison. And
Sure.
here comes the rise of that person.
Well,
and
and
that's great.
then you get all the news footage instead of the real footage. It's like someone else's perspective instead of somebody actually giving first person from you experiencing it, which I think is
Right.
going to be interesting to see, right?
Yeah, I wanted people to see like the struggles and how I'm dealing with it because it's hard. I
Yeah.
mean, I was sitting in my cold plunge. You have these moments you want to cry like a little girl and you want to ball up and just go depressed and turn off your Instagram. But then I just dig deep and I just say, you know what? I got to, show the world and my kids that when you have adversity, you got to fight through it.
Yeah.
And it's all mindset. I mean, David Goggins doesn't go run 2 marathons because he's, the best athlete in the world. Of course, he's athletic and he's strong, whatever. But it's up here.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for me. All these little dogfights I've had have been all because of my mindset.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard, I talked to Nicole, and I hope this has changed since we had, like I said, when we first started talking after this whole thing went down at the petting zoo. She was saying that financially, obviously, they froze all your assets. I don't know if you could talk about this stuff, but
Yeah.
something that was interesting, it almost broke my heart, was she was saying that you guys on paper might have to get divorced.
We talked about that.
So that you could separate your financial responsibility so that she would have something to live on, even though you guys would still be together and
Sure.
but it was almost just like paperwork, which I thought was kind of horrible to have to go
we
through
weren't
that.
we weren't really sure. Our assets aren't frozen. I paid all my restitution. I took out an extensive loan on my house. I'm paying $18,000 a month in interest.
Yeah, she was saying something at that point too, that the government owned your house and you guys only
They
that
don't
you wouldn't
own
get
it,
you would
but
get the equity, or there was some
They
just
could
trying to
force
explain
us
it.
to liquidate assets, and then because we're married. Excuse me, that's disgusting. Cut that.
Okay.
Because
You're growing it out. It's cool.
beard. Because we're married, she has rights to like parts of our money, so they can't just take everything.
Yeah.
So like if we had to, we could sell our assets and she would get half and then my half would go to the government. But because I took the equity out of the property and I paid them, I don't owe them anything. Now I do owe taxes because I had to file a correct 2023 and 24 return.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what I made. I made so much money and I never kept track of it. So we asked the IRS, how do
we figure that out?
Yeah, we have no way. You guys, my website's done. I don't have access to any of the stuff. And they wouldn't give us a number. So I was like, okay. So I had to file a return on all of the money that I didn't even receive. Even though I didn't receive the money, my website showed all this action. So my return, that's why right now we owe roughly $10 million between state and federal. And they're charging me $58,000 a month in interest right now.
How are you making money right now?
The turf business. And then I also market for car dealerships. My friend that owns 8 car dealerships, I help him with marketing.
And you can make that much a month?
No, not even close.
Okay, I'm like, that's a healthy income.
I've depleted I've spent millions of dollars on lawyers and
I'm sure, yeah.
everything. So I've depleted everything. My assets, the federal government, I had to show them when you do your pre-sentencing interview report, you actually have to disclose every asset you have. And they had my net worth at just over 10 million. So I'd have to sell my retirement account. I'd have to sell my houses. I'd do all that. So truth be told, I got to pay this amount of money, but my plan is just to go make it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
As long as
which is feasible with a book and a movie and
correct.
Yeah.
The movie especially, and that's really my ultimate goal. I asked that question a minute ago.
Yeah,
He interrupted you rudely. But truth be told, my plan, if I can have a Wall Street movie, which I have some offers. I have one offer currently in writing, but I have multiple conversations going.
Yeah.
They want to see the doc first, and now that I'm sentenced, we could kind of move forward. But my plan is to hopefully have
it's a
big
great
movie.
story for a feature film.
I think so. I mean, it's exciting. And of course, a feature film, they're going to make it even more exciting.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. I mean, Jordan Belfort wasn't
Yeah.
flipping $100 bills off his yacht, but
Right.
that was a great scene.
I call them fun chips.
Yeah.
Or fun coupons.
Yeah. And that was an awesome scene. And I don't mind if Margot Robbie's my wife in the movie and I got to play my role. I mean, I'll be okay
That's
with
right.
that. My wife doesn't like that. And she said that Brad Pitt can play mine and she could play
You're already married to a Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
Come on.
I think she's better looking, actually. But truth be told, that's my goal. I'm hoping to get there, and I'm going to do everything I can in my power to do it.
Yeah.
But I've built everything. The foundation has been built. My social media, my book, documentary, and then now I'm just, even though I'm going to prison in 32 days, I've done 30, 40 podcasts. I'm trying everything I can, just putting my story out there. to build and get momentum and people behind me, and hoping to pay everything back.
This is kind of like you were talking about your upbringing and where you found the struggle, and the struggle turned into the hustle.
Right.
You're at that phase right now, right?
For sure.
Only now you're 30 years post when you had to do it the last time.
Right.
But you're in the hustle right now, right?
Yeah.
Because
And now you can't break the law.
No.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to do it.
And I don't have
Yeah.
a license. I can't get a license to sell mortgages or
Yep.
insurance, or there's so many things that I'm kind of, and plus I'm 50. The energy level, I do have pretty good energy. For
By the
my
way,
age,
I'm
but-
52.
Well, you look good, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got a lot of hair too.
I know what it feels like to be over 50.
No, but it's a struggle. Like, every day the energy levels aren't what when you're 25, and
Yeah.
clearly, in my case, I have all these roadblocks. I can't. There's a lot of things I can't do because I'm now a felon.
Yeah.
And that, but I'll work around that. I'm not even worried about it. I know what's going to happen. I see my movie as they ask me, like, what would you see your movie? And I say it's Casino, along with Wolf of Wall Street, and then Pursuit of Happiness, all mixed together.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to get on. I don't know how much time we have you for today, but I wanted to get on kind of this everything.
Well, the time's fine. I mean, I'm billing you by the minute.
Yeah, perfect. Your attitude, like this whole post, all this going down, like your attitude has been so positive, and it's like you could have taken so many routes, but why did you choose to have such a like you really leaned into it, and you could have been quiet about it.
Yeah,
But you leaned into it. You made it very public and very aspirational and very influential for people. And why did you take that approach?
I want to show my kids that when you fall down, you got to get up. You can make excuses and you can make money, but you can't make both.
Yeah.
So for me, I just want to show them that, I made a very big poor choice. There's so many things I could have did that were legal. I already proven that. And I chose the easier route, which was something that made me a lot of money that I had a passion for. But I could have owned DraftKings or FanDuel or been a CEO of something like that.
Yeah.
But here I am doing something illegal. I knew it, and it financed a great lifestyle and made me a lot of money. But now here I am on every freaking media outlet, and I'm known. They don't make you look great in these outlets. Let's be honest. They're gonna sensationalize everything and make me look like an asshole. And at least this way I can rewrite my story and give a little bit of a narrative. I'm not an angel. I'm not a perfect guy, but I'm not really this predator, bad person they try to portray you as. But that being said, positivity goes a long way. I mean, you wake up every day and you're negative and you're around negative people, you're not going to really succeed. And
And it's also very hard to portray you as a negative person when there's all these interviews with you being very positive, right?
Yeah.
It's like, am I missing something? Can someone show me the negative asshole ego guy that you're talking about?
Ego for sure.
Yeah.
I'll never get rid of that. That's my biggest enemy. But, like people ask me all the time, what are you going to do? And I answered honestly, I'm going to own a Rolls Royce again. I'm going to fly in a private jet again. I mean, I'll do it legally, but, and they'll say, well, why is that so important to you? I say, because I like that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm honest. And if that makes me materialistic, then I'm materialistic. I mean, I like nice shit. But I'll do it for the right
You've
reasons.
been poor, you've been rich. I mean, you clearly don't ever want to be poor again, right?
No. And I want to enjoy my life. And I have chosen to live every day as if it's my last. I really have. And that's kind of I went a little too far with it. but I've done it for 50 years. So why am I going to stop now?
Yeah.
In fact, 32 days before I'm going to prison, I'm with you guys for 2 hours, right?
Yep.
Which, thank you very much. I honestly, I hesitated to even reach out to you because I'm like, there's no way you're going to want to come and talk to us. Like, you probably got so much going on
I have
in
a
your
lot
personal
going on.
life, in your head, and with your family.
But I enjoy this. I can, hopefully somebody watches this and they can be inspired
Yeah.
to be a better human being.
That was one of the main reasons we wanted to get you on, to be honest with you.
I really hope that there's somebody who maybe has an addiction that I can help them realize that they can go get help with it, or someone who's down in their life and they just motivation and mindset to their person, or maybe realize that life is short and you just enjoy and be positive. I mean, because sitting and dwelling on negative moments is not going to get you anywhere.
Is there a scenario or a world where you could get like a certification to do therapy for people and like one-on-one counseling, or do you think that's just for you the bigger calling is to get in front of a big crowd and be more the more motivational speaker?
I built a CRM on my website that I'll have a community, and to be honest, I'll definitely do that as a VIP member and charge for it. I mean, clearly, time is money.
Yeah.
So,
100%. Yeah.
So I will, and that'll be something that I offer when I get out of prison, so they can go on there and for whatever dollar amount, we could Zoom personally on a daily basis or wherever they're located, or text or call or whatever. And happy to do that because that's positive for me. So I've said this a lot in a few podcasts that
Then we don't want to talk about it.
I think
I'm
you
kidding.
will.
I'm just kidding.
Every job I've really had in the past or career has been I win, but I need them to lose for me to win.
Yeah.
And this is the first time both people are going to win. And that means more to me than anything because now
That's pretty good.
I can wake up every day, feel good about myself. I used to look over my shoulder as a Fed's coming. Did I, have a guy lose too much money and I'm just taking advantage of that, which clearly I did in my day many times. But now, if I could help somebody who clearly has problems in their life, it doesn't matter what it is, and they win, and I get paid for that,
Yeah.
I'm winning.
Yep.
How do you prep for what's coming up? I mean, you go to prison next month. Like, how do you prepare for that? And are you scared?
I'm not scared. I'm just more terrified of that I can't be home to be a father and provide and protect for my wife and kids, and like that part is what's scary.
Yeah.
Going to prison, I'm not scared. I mean, what's the worst case? I get stabbed or I get in a fight. I mean,
That's a pretty good Tina's face.
I mean,
that's a pretty.
But I'm going
worst
to I'm
part.
going to a federal camp.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely.
Is it more like a farm type thing? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, shit does happen there, but less likely. If I was going to a state prison, I would be scared.
Yeah.
I would be very scared, actually. I can fight. I can handle myself. I can get my ass kicked. I don't even care. But you can't, if you're getting shanked on a neck and you're dead, life is over. And
Right.
I hate to say it, but a state prison, you almost have to join a gang right when you walk in, whether you want to or not. And if you don't, problems are even worse.
Yeah.
Where I'm going, that's not really an issue.
Okay.
There will be some politics and some people, that probably want to do things that, test you a little bit, but I'll handle that. I'll keep my head down. My goal is to get home to my wife and kids. And if I avoid, my ego will be checked, right? Like if somebody would disrespect me normally on the street, I would say something or even get physical. But in this case, I'll just tell them, you win, you're better than me. I'm a bitch if I have to say it.
Sure.
Because I just need to get home.
Yeah.
And that'll be hard, but at the end of the day,
It's hard to be humble, right? Sometimes in that
This has
situation.
been very humbling.
Yeah.
No question.
Do you think Nicole is mentally prepared to have you gone for 8 to 12 months, or how
Not
is she?
yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Does she have a support system? I mean, she's raised there. She's grown up here, so she has
Yeah.
a local network of friends and family. But
She does, but she doesn't want it.
yeah.
Her and I are very similar. We don't really ask a lot of help or people for. She's very private and shy, and
Yeah.
she definitely will struggle with I think asking for help. But luckily, our whole family will be there for her. But I could feel her struggling, and it kills me because it's my fault, And I all I could do is continue to pound in her that I am definitely going to be only there 6 months and it's going to be fine, and clearly just alleviate stresses on the outside as much as I can.
Yeah.
But this is the guilt that I've probably in, let's call it 48 years, first 48 years of my life, I've done, if you put Kid Rock and LeBron James and all these people together, I think I've done more than them, truly. I know that sounds crazy, but every 2 weeks I was on a private jet with $2 million to somewhere special and doing things while they're working, really, and that was my job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I say that, but now I'm paying
Now you're paying the price for
ultimate
it.
price.
Yeah.
My little boy doesn't have his dad. My other kids, my 14-year-old, she's been crying a ton. My wife is going through all this. My mom, she's 75. I mean, just, there's so much, collateral damage. And
Do you
I wasn't
think-
thinking that when I was having the blast.
Do you think it was worth it? Would you have done it any other way? I mean,
I would do it another way. I would
but
do
you
it
probably
legally.
would. Yeah.
But was it worth it? You're damn right it was.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to say that, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
it kind of shapes who you are as a person, right?
It was well worth it. I would do it all over again.
Yeah.
But I would change the approach of it and do it legally or do something, that's the part I would change. But when people ask you if you have regrets, everybody has regrets.
Yeah.
But I always answer this question this way too. If I didn't go through what I'm going through, I wouldn't be who I am right here in front of you today. So I wouldn't change things even though I would, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's such a double-edged question.
Yeah.
And why'd you have to ask that?
The thing that, the reason I ask is my life was obviously nowhere near as dramatic as yours, but I played music for 10 years of my life. And I easily could have taken those 10 years and worked, but I didn't. I wanted to get out and I played music with my friends and we toured. And I look back on that time and I wouldn't change it. and I started like actual employment later in life, and it took me a lot longer to catch up to my friends, but the times and experiences that I had outweighed the financial like
Gain.
loss or gain from it all. So that to me, I wouldn't change it either, because it was that the same thing. That's what shaped my personality. It's actually what taught me business, because I was also managing the whole music side of it all.
Sure. Memories, moments, these are all things you
that's
die
like
with.
experiences.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's really all we're living for.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real, right? I mean, you could have $500 million and you die and you're gone and the money's gone. It's probably going to the government anyway, or probate or whatever.
Or some family members that you might not have had a great relationship, and they get to enjoy all your hard work, right?
I agree.
I just want to say thanks. I really appreciate you coming in. Can we plug anything for you?
Wait, I got another question.
Oh,
for-
Evan's
if we're
got more
rolling there.
questions. Let's go.
I got one more question. So we had the opportunity to come over to your house, I think right after you got raided. Rad ass, like cool little. You took us to the cold plunge room. You took us to the movie theater. We had like
the
little
movie
back-
theater that goes from that you have to enter through the master bathroom
Or outside.
or outside.
yeah.
But that's not the cool
So-
way. You got to go
Yeah.
through the bathroom.
So
Sneak attack.
I read there's another secret room.
There is.
I wanted to ask about that, too.
And so did we pass the
I
door
never
to that?
showed it to you. You didn't make the cut.
No, I understand. I thought I was
can
your
I-
beard,
You know
but I
why?
wasn't.
If you would have got rid of the tick, I would have showed it to you.
Can I come over and see the secret room?
Of course you can.
All right, Matt. Thanks so much, man. Can we plug anything for you?
You know, you guys did. I mean, my book, Recalibrate, obviously is on my website, MathewBowyer.com. I think
Also Amazon.
Amazon as well, which has a link on there. Clearly, if anyone wants to go to my social channels, Mathew Bowyer 5 at Instagram, and I have YouTube, et cetera, and all that stuff, which the link is on there. But I'm hoping people will just come and follow the journey, because my plan, I don't know if I'm going to pull this off because I'm working my tail off, but is to create a bunch of videos and put them out. So like to motivate people while I'm in prison. So day one, here I am in prison, you know, even though I won't technically be filming myself in prison, it's going to be like mindset of where I'm at and kind of walking them through my process.
Are you going to have your social sequenced out? Are you going to have access to the internet when you're there that you
I
can
will
post on
not.
social?
I will not, but I have
Do you have a
someone-
team that's going to?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll keep it going because I've worked hard to build this community, and
Sure.
I actually take a lot of pride in because I didn't know why I was doing it. I mean, I knew why, I should say, but I was doing it more initially as a marketing tool for money.
Yeah.
And then now it's turned into I actually enjoy the inspiration of the people.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually got more social media friends. I call them my friends because they're you could tell the humility. I've been offered money, and people said I'll send you money. But I can tell you 100 people have offered to put money in my books, which is a small amount of money, but I'm talking about real money.
Yeah, it's another thing. You weren't one of those crowdfunding people that are like, here's my like Indiegogo campaign, or
I didn't ask for anything
Yeah,
until
you didn't
until
have
my
your
book came
hand
out.
out. Yeah,
Once
but-
my book came out, I've been promoting it, but
you're selling a physical something. You're not asking for a handout.
correct. And I even the people that want to put money in my books, I tell them no, that's amazing. But my book, I don't make anything. I'm transparent. I make $4 on a softback and $7 on a hardback because Amazon takes.
Well, I purchased the hardback, so
Well, you haven't even read it, so it doesn't count. So you should buy you need to buy the audio. You need to buy them all now. But truth be told, I don't make much money in the book, and that really wasn't why I wrote it.
Yeah.
It's more of a legacy for my kids to see the life I've lived, which they're being very surprised on a lot of it.
And,
Sure.
and have your daughters been supportive of everything so far? I mean,
Yeah,
now,
they're amazing.
Did they understand how you made money, or
They all of them did. Yeah.
Okay.
They
so it
understand
wasn't? It
more.
didn't. Yeah, they understand obviously the inner workings of it all now, but now it kind of probably they
Now it's
understand.
making more sense
Yeah,
on why
it
we're on
makes
private
sense.
jets and
Yeah.
Yeah.
living this chaotic life. They knew it, but now I think they really understand it. Of course.
I got one more question for you. As the avid gambler that I am, if I had $100 and I wanted to put it on a team for the Super Bowl, who would you recommend?
Wow. I actually choose the Buffalo Bills. I know they won last night, but I think they have
What a comeback!
I think they have the year, like the team to do it. I mean, their defense struggled a little bit, but I actually think Josh Allen to me is amazing, and I think he's a winner. And I think, in fact, I met him on the golf course and had some quality time with him. He's a great guy.
Awesome, Matt. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate your time. We obviously spent a lot of time with you, so thanks so much for coming down and joining us on Shady Characters.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Nice beard, Evan.
Thanks.
Evan's going to make fun of me. I got to take a quick bathroom break, but I have a very important question I want to ask you about that.
Sure.
This is old guy Tim. Yeah, old guy Tim and the small bladder.
Tim's got a bladder of a 90-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Size of a pea. Yeah, I'd love to keep chatting right now, but I'd prefer to wait.
What did we do? What did Tim do? Did he not wash his hands?
Oh, I did. Oh, you're putting it up there? I think she's got something up there for it. Oh, it's there it is.
There it is. Look at the beard. Look at
It's the beard.
I got fucking clowned. One guy said something really funny. He looked like he put goggles on and went through a dust cloud.